Adding a new show to the Primetime for College Football podcast. It's your boy Jay and Dukes. We're going to do some ball talk with Dukes and Jay. Check us out. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like, subscribe, bell notification. If you're listening, rate, review, give us 5 stars. You don't think we deserve it? Go on and give us 5 anyway and gift it. So me and Dukes is going to dive into some big time topics around college football. We're going to talk about Colorado and what went down this past weekend. We got to talk about Coach Prime and kind of what things look like for him going forward, because the coaching carousel is about to be bananas. What does that look like? We're going to jump into all of that here on the show. Shout out to our partners there at Sleeper. If you're not checking them out for daily fantasy ball, you are missing out. Use our promo code PRIMETIME and they're going to hook you up. They're going to match your first deposit up to $100. And they're going to give you $20 just for signing up. So terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. So let's jump right into it with me and your boy Dukes. What's good, folks? We're doing some ball talk with Jay and Dukes. You got DukesTheScoop here. Jay, follow me at Unfair Sports. Follow Dukes at DukesTheScoop. Dukes, man, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about in college ball right now, man. We're trying something new. We want to talk. We're going to talk some just ball in general and have a good time. And, you know, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, bell notifications on both of these channels over there, DukesTheScoops, as well as here at Primetime College Football. We'll slide in all our sponsorship stuff on the back end. But, hey, Dukes, man, what's going on with you, boss?
Man, if you wacky weekend in college football, you saw some really close scares of some top flight teams, but just a very, very interesting weekend to say the least.
It was, man. It's like I don't know why I even would be surprised, man. It's just this college ball has been all over the place this year, and you know, you guys, I guess you could say thank you to the transfer portal, I guess, and NIL and all of this stuff, and rev share, because it seems like a lot of the talent is being spread out because teams are winning way more than we expected. So since we're expecting a crazy, crazy coaching carousel to hit down, we got to talk about a couple of things. First and foremost, let's dive into Colorado, dog. 53-7, loss to Utah. This was ugly. Like, there was nothing good about this game. And this game was ugly. Dukes, talk to me, man. Like, what the heck happened?
I wish I knew, dog. To be honest, if you would have told me that there were going to be 60 points scored in this game and only 7 would have been black and gold, I would have told you were the craziest man in the history of history.
Called you a liar, right?
But yeah, for sure. Like, there's no way I would have went for that. You could have bet me anything you wanted to. I would not have went for that. 60 points scored and you only get 7. All right. You see the stats here. The most this if you would have told me there would be 460 rushing yards total in this game and only 38 would have been black and gold, I once again would have said, hey man, you've gone mad. I would have went old school. Crazy man. I would have went Atlanta too. There's a multitude of things I would have said besides I agree. But when you can't rush for less than 40 yards and give up over 400. These are like, that's just fundamental. You can stop the analysis right there. Like if that's not enough, 140 total yards versus 587. 100 yards passing, and I think you may have had 40 going into the fourth quarter. It was probably one of the worst performances I've seen in college football this year from a talented team.
I mean, Utah talent. This is what bothered me, Dukes.
Mm-hmm.
You go into this game knowing that the starting quarterback Devin Dampier ain't playing,
right? So
they're gonna put a true freshman out there.
Mm-hmm.
I know the kid, Bird Ficklin, Muskogee, Oklahoma. I'm in Oklahoma City. I know the kid. I remember seeing him around. I've seen him play before. I was like, oh, he's got some talent, but he's a 3-star. Nobody really bought in. Right. So when I saw that Colorado's going to have no Devin Dampier to go against, who, I remind you, came to Utah with his offensive coordinator, similar to a la Diego Pavia to Vanderbilt, John Mateer to Oklahoma. You start to see this offensive coordinator quarterback combo move up from smaller ranks up. So they pulled that, right? Because, you know, Coach Whittingham's always got a defense. But Devin's not playing. And Devin's like completing like 65, 70% of his passes this year. Like he's balling. So you bring in a freshman. So you know what I thought? I thought Black and Gold had a chance to go ahead and, you know, slow this little man down, make him work for it. Dukes, this man accounted for 151 yards rushing on 20 carries, and he threw 140 yards. He didn't throw very well, but he threw 140 yards, 10 of 22, 2 touchdowns. Like, I feel like this is a major indictment on what Rob Livingston is doing there at Colorado. Am I crazy? It feels like it.
No, you're not crazy. Once you've seen, and I always say this, whether it's Hugh Freeze, whether it's Rob Livingston, whether it's anybody in the ranks of college football, they will probably forget more than I'll ever know. But when you look just from watching it, and as much football as I've watched, it looks as if fundamentally and foundationally, there are some scheme principles that need to be adjusted in a major way. Assignment football, like the assignments look off. There's a lot that looks wrong, and I usually can look and say maybe it's effort, maybe it's this one player. It looks like the scheme as a whole when it comes to these certain situations, especially when it comes to a running quarterback or a rush or run-oriented offense, Colorado is lost without a clue. And this has happened since game one. So now when you look at the players, we've seen Rob Livingston be better than this. We've seen it. Yep. We've seen some of these players perform better than this, but we haven't seen them together. So I think this is a message plus adherence problem, more so than it is a foundational lack of football knowledge. I think this is whatever the conversation is being, whatever the message is, and whatever the method of message. How are you transferring this message to these players who we've seen be good? We've seen like Martavius French in the past. We've seen Reggie Hughes. We've seen what they've done at different levels. We've seen the defensive line be successful at different levels. What is it about the totality of the scheme plus the players isn't getting home to get the results that you would like? And I mean, it's not close. And I think that's where, so I would probably say, if it's me, the method of transmission is probably one of the biggest problems. Like, all right, you see the coaching, you see they're working hard, you see they're having physical practices. What is getting lost in translation between scheme, practice, and the game?
That's what I'm trying to figure out as well. Because I mean, Prime even takes blame for it. He's pointed out it starts with them at the top trying to figure this out. And Dukes, you're right, because first off, you have a bye week, and who is it? Prime is calling the players out and saying they coming back late and stuff, so they're getting punished for it. Why are y'all coming back late from bye week? Why aren't you locked in to try to get at least bowl eligible? Like bowl eligibility is right in front of you. You don't have that tough of a schedule coming up in front of you. Like when you look at the back end of this schedule, you have Arizona, West Virginia, who both those teams aren't that good.
Right.
Arizona State, who's and then Kansas State, who's been cheeks all season. You have a very good chance of becoming bowl eligible if you lock in and win some games. Like this game, I thought at least they'd make it competitive with the true freshmen out there playing quarterback, but it's like the defense was like Olay the whole game. Like, here, you can have it. Defensive line's not even getting any pressure. Defensive line's not causing any ruckus there at the line when they run the ball. You can't have a quarterback scrambling like this, and you can't have a team go up against you and rush for 422 yards, dog. Like you said, you can't have 460 yards of rushing in a game, and you only get 38 of it. Like, the pieces of that pie you got to get. Now, granted, Utah is a really good defense, but this is wild that the disparity was that big. Why couldn't you make Ficklin throw the ball? Like, I don't understand that part. I mean, it's make like a freshman throw.
I mean, at the end of the day, if I could walk across the street, why would I drive?
Fair.
That's kind of what it was. It's like, we ain't got to throw the ball. I'm going across the street. Like that's an easy walk. And then you you look at it from it's just infiltrated the team as a whole. The offensive line has been good all year, and that was probably the worst game we saw from the offensive line. I did hear Caden. I think it Caden Salter who said that they were throwing blitz packages that they hadn't seen, that they didn't see on film. Yeah. So I feel like the adjustment wasn't made, and they consistently brought 5 or 6. That was a thing, and then when they brought 4, it was like bringing 5 because you were looking for it. You ever see that dog or somebody who kind of got hit, or if you spank a dog and then sometimes they do something wrong, they just kind of flinch anyway.
They jump anyway.
Yeah, they look even though you're not being swung at, and that's kind of how Caden Salter was in the pocket last night, where there may not have been 5 or 6 coming this time, but he was already prematurely bailing. So when he did have the opportunities to step up in the pocket, what happened on 2 plays ago was still fresh in his mind, and so he was bailing anyway. I mean, how many times did we see Caden Salter roll to the right and throw the ball away? I mean, it happened way too many times. I mean, so at this point, I mean, even to the point of a safety, like just some bad football last night. And this is not, and I don't think the brand of football being played is indicative of the talent in that building. I just still refuse to believe that these guys are as bad as they showed that last night. I just don't believe it.
Me either. Like, nothing about them has told me that they're this bad. I mean, Granted, I know they're really bad at run defense because we've seen it all season. It's been their Achilles heel, and their kryptonite has been run. But that's not what I thought. This is way off. Prime's got a lot of work to do, and we're going to talk about that more this week or whatnot. Take a breather. But let's talk about this, Dukes. Shout out to our partners over there at Sleeper. If you're not using them for daily fantasy ball, again, you are definitely missing out. They've got some of the best odds and options out there. Let's go ahead and make a couple of picks real quick here on the show. Let's look at some of this NBA action or whatnot. So, of course, the best part about it is you can pick all the games that's coming up. We're going to look at some of these games here on Monday. Not only do you got Patrick Mahomes up here popping up for Monday Night Football, he's actually a big pickup. Desmond Bain, 17.5 points against Philly. You know, Desmond showing off for the Orlando Magic. The best thing is when you click on them, it shows you how they've done over the last few games, some historical statistics and everything. And so, you know, last season he was averaging 28. I think he can kind of show back out against Philly. So you can pick more or less on their statistics, pick 2 or more players, win up to 1,000 times your money if you get all of them to hit in succession. So check them out. Use our promo code PRIMETIME. They're going to match your first deposit at 100% up to $100. And if you just sign up using our code, they're going to give you $20. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Coaching carousel starting to heat up, dog. I say by the time y'all see this, there's a very good chance that Brian Kelly done got himself fired. You add him to James Franklin, Billy Napier. So that's your 3 guys. I don't know about Auburn. We don't know about if Hugh Freeze. I don't think Hugh Freeze is getting fired no time soon after that good win last week. But this is going to be UCLA ain't got no coach. Like, it's crazy. See, Vitex it got the job. There's so many jobs that, hell, I'm waiting for Florida State to pull the trigger too, dog. So let me ask you this first, though, Dukes, as we're both going to let's dig into the coaching carousel. When you look at this, who do you think will most likely get fired first? Hugh Freeze, Mike Norvell.
Norvell. I think Philip Marshall, one of the insiders, probably, and one of the most famous people on the Auburn beat when it comes to writing. He basically said he talked to a lot of people in the know and powers that be, a lot of the really big donors, and they feel like Hugh Freeze is going to get the season regardless. Now, they're not promising anything past the season, but that win only helped. When you look at the situation with Ken Williamson, with the referee being suspended, who had 2 games against Auburn that basically he had a really big impact in those games, taking 2 scores off the board with his calls. one in each, and these were one-score games. I think that kind of gives Hugh Freeze a little bit of an extra push when it comes to those, saying, does he need a little more time? And when you look at the investment of this roster, it's like, all right, look, we spent so much on this roster. Let's just see. We've played the best teams in the country when we lost. You lose to Texas A&M, you lose to Georgia, you lose to Missouri, and Texas A&M, Georgia, Missouri, one more I'm missing. But Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're losing to upper echelon teams, top 15 teams you lose to. Does that mean you're a top 16 team? And I think that's what they're kind of gambling on. So you might as well keep them. What's out there? But as you see the coaching carousel start to heat up, how much hotter does Lane Kiffin become now that LSU potentially has an opening?
Dog, you know how terrifying Lane Kiffin would be at LSU? I mean, I don't think people understand, like, the Brian Kelly thing is he's just not liked. Like, no one actually liked him. They didn't like him at Notre Dame. I don't think they liked him in Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. He's just a dude that's just not likable. You know, what else, right? I mean, I've heard reports of people that's worked with him before, and they've all pointed out, nope, hate that guy with a passion. Moving on from that, though, Lane Kiffin, LSU, and those fertile recruiting grounds. Like, I don't think people understand, Dukes, just how powerful it is having that eye in that state around those kids. It's like the bodyguard voodoo. I tell people all the time that basically, like, as soon as a kid gets to the right age, they immediately in that state decide, I'm going to go to LSU. Now, years before, it wasn't that. That wasn't like that. It was a lot of, you saw some more Southern, or you saw some Grambling, saw some, a lot of things like that. But as the game evolved, LSU started to be smart and start to go after the top kids. And that is what it ended up being, right?
Yeah.
So, to me, Lane there, not only recruiting, he probably bring Pete Golding with him unless Ole Miss decides that they're going to try to hire Pete Golding as their head coach. He would kill it, not only with the talent, but in the recruiting trail. Because the dude is actually, I mean, people like him.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, Lane a trip. And I tell you what, the only job, think about this. LSU is so special, and I always say this, is that what other SEC school doesn't have to compete with another Power 4 school in his own state?
Oh, bruh.
LSU stands alone. So, I mean, even Georgia has Georgia Tech, Alabama, Auburn, Florida State, Miami, South Carolina, right. Clemson. I mean, NC State, North Carolina. I mean, the list goes on and on. But this school, Mississippi State, LSU, and who?
Nope.
That's it. So in that fertile territory to have a guy like Lane Kiffin, I mean, he would literally put the Lane State University in LSU. But there's one job that I feel like he could be even scarier at. Now, rumors have started to surface about Steve Sarkisian's interest in the NFL. We talk about the boogeyman. How big of a boogeyman would Lane Kiffin be in Texas?
Oh, God, don't say that out loud. Let's not do this.
Right.
No. And they would outspend anybody for him.
Right.
Because
is he the top candidate in the country? Who else would you go try? Like, is it Sig? Let's say if LSU comes open, does Sig reconsider?
Well, that's a good question, because, I mean, Sig was on Saban's staff at Bama. I could see Sig considering, but I don't think he leaves Indiana. I mean, at his age, I have that question about Signetti. At his age, would he go take another big payday at another big school?
So Landon turned down Bama. Would he turn down Texas?
I don't think Dan Lanning would turn down. I don't think he turned down Texas or LSU. Lanning is another person that's flying out there. And actually, we talked about this in the green room, dog, and it's now something that I can't get out of my brain. Joey McGuire, Texas Tech's coach, who would try to steal him? And I say that because Yeah, Tech's got money. They got a billionaire that's basically front loading all of their money right now in recruiting in the NIL game. But could someone actually pull him away? Could LSU be that team? Could Texas do it?
So
Joey McGuire is an interesting name as well.
no, I agree. And really, my original point for Joey was kind of like I was thinking about the Auburn job.
Yeah.
So let's say you free. Let's say Auburn does come open, and you go to a billionaire like Jimmy Rain down in Auburn, and you say, "Hey, look, I've already shown." What's the guy? I think you told me his name. Cody Campbell. Is that it?
Yeah, Cody Campbell, the Texas billionaire. Yeah, former player.
You go to Cody Campbell, and you no, excuse me. You go to you go to Jimmy Rain, and you say, "Hey, look what I've been able to do recruiting wise with at Texas Tech. The facilities can't match Auburn. Like Auburn really is a powder keg ready to explode. You give me the funding that I need, I'm going to bring a championship because the way that I'm recruiting to get guys to Texas Tech, how much easier is it for me to go do this in Georgia? I just need the bread. LaDainian Guyton going to Texas Tech in the first place is insane. To skip over all of these schools and go to Texas, you just got another top offensive tackle to go to Texas Tech. This is crazy what he's doing. The portal class that he got this past year. I mean, we're talking about Texas Tech being a playoff contender in 1 year.
That is true.
Nobody's talking about Joey McGuire, period. As somebody who's covered Auburn, I think it would be a perfect fit. But being a guy who's from Texas, with Texas, to your point, with Texas tap Joey McGuire, and I think it's an interesting point.
It actually is. It's actually a solid one. Like keeping him in state because he was at, he was an assistant at Baylor. Spent years at Baylor. And spent years in the high school rank there in the Dallas area.
Mm-hmm.
So he's known. And Joey's beloved in that area. He went to UT Arlington.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, if the Texas job comes up, that probably will be the number one phone call made. Will make the most sense.
Yeah. I think you gotta tap in with Lane.
Lane though. So okay, let me ask this though. I'm curious on this one. James Franklin. Is he gonna get another chance? Because
sure.
To me, after what he did at Vanderbilt, and even the consistency of winning there at Penn State for as long as he just couldn't get over the hump. Feels like somebody's gonna say, "Hey, I think we can get you over the hump if you come here."
Yeah, I hope. I would love for Auburn to say that.
He would be nice at
the
Auburn.
way that you could recruit at Auburn, I definitely think that he could get over the hump at Auburn. They say, "Oh, well, he hasn't done it before." Andy Reid didn't get over the hump until he got to Kansas City. All those great years he had in Philadelphia, but when he got to KC, got Mahomes, he figured it out. I mean, you've got a quarterback ready. James Franklin and Deuce Knight could be a match made in heaven. So you're gonna be able to recruit running backs. Like literally, there's a ton of potential in Auburn. Of course, I'm going to be Auburn centric, and these are guys that I think about. But there are some people who feel like James Franklin would be a great candidate for the Auburn role. But regardless, it's so many openings in this cycle. He's going to get one of them.
Yeah,
this cycle is almost like the demand is going to is basically going to overrun the supply.
Oh no, I can see that. And the funny thing, as you say that, it makes me think about. Let's jump into this part, take a breather, but let's talk about this, Dukes. You saw my picks earlier, so let's make some more. Check out our fans over there at Sleeper. Get a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. And they're just going to give you $20 just for signing up. Use our promo code PRIMETIME. So use your opportunity to be able to see if you can do it. So let's look at some NBA games now because, of course, that's the cool thing about this app. They've got all of the best options out there. I'm going to go to this Brooklyn game because that's the one that kind of intrigues your boys. So let's pop that up here. Of course, Patrick Mahomes for Monday Night Football. But you got Kevin Durant at 25.5. We all know Kevin Durant's like a walking bucket, so I could totally see him going more on that. Steven Adams, definitely more or less on the rebounds. I could say less. Michael Porter Jr., they even give you first quarter options. And so Sleeper gives you more options than any of the other ones out there. When I'm looking at this, there's a lot of good 24 and 24.5 points, 17.5 points. So you know what? Let's go ahead and take the more on that because Michael Porter Jr. is probably going to be good for that. Cam Thomas, Alfred Sengun, who killed it not too long ago against the Thunder. I'm going to pick him. But I'm going to look at some of the other games as well. Phoenix, Devin Booker. You know, he's a solo act, so take him. I'm going to take less on Dylan Brooks. I don't think he scores that much. But you take all of that, more or less on their stats, and boom, you could win up to 1,000 times your money if you hit all of it. So check them out. Use our promo code PRIMETIME. They're going to match you at 100% on your first deposit up to $100. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. As you mentioned, which is perfect, that this cycle may end up being one of those where the demand out, there's going to be so much, there's not going to be enough supply to go with the demand because there's going to be so many openings. And the question is what coaches are going to take what. How many big time programs are going to lose their coaches to other jobs? That's kind of where my question is going to. I feel like there's going to be some poaching of actual head coaches from other programs that you wouldn't even consider losing their coach. That's going to end up taking place. Like, I mean, I know that like Summerall down there at Tulane is one that people are looking at. Willie Fritz at Houston is another coach that people are really throwing out there. But
Willie Fritz, yeah, I like Willie Fritz.
Willie Fritz is he's nice, and you can see that in his only 2 years there, he's starting to make his changes are starting to work.
It'll take long.
They're doing good this year.
Yeah, it took 1 year.
Yep, took him a year, and he got them boys 7-1.
Yeah.
So I wonder, would someone snatch him up and get him or could Houston even retain him? But I'm looking at even some of the big programs in the Big Ten or even the SEC could, like the Lane Kiffin change, Mike Norvell. Let's ask it. They fire him. You think they can go get Deion? You think Prime will consider it?
I think he would have to consider it, just based on that being his alma mater. Like, that's the thing about college football, the alma mater. We always talk about, oh, he played there. That's one of those things where, and going back to Florida, where it's easy for somebody to drive to him. Like, hey man, pull up on me. You can drive to him in Florida. It's not have to catch a flight to Colorado. It's I can pull up on you for real, where he could get to a certain spot and recruit where he doesn't have to go to schools. And Coach Prime already says that the reason he doesn't do a lot of the high school recruiting is where can he go into a school and it doesn't make a ton of noise, right?
Right.
But shoot, he could literally have a satellite recruiting event. There are things that he can do where in Florida it makes way more sense than it does in Colorado. Now, I think he loves Colorado and wants to stay.
Yeah.
But I think there's going to be a point where he knows that in order to be more competitive, should I be able to recruit talent from my home state?
And it ain't been a lot of wins in the state of Colorado for the Buffs as of right now. And it feels like the staff at Colorado has begun the focal point of recruiting high schoolers. I like that. I think that that's the constant living in the transfer portal for essential spots all the time is not going to work long term. You got to get some high school kids. You got to get dudes to grow up and bond and grow together, right? You need some players, some wide receivers to bond with Juju. You need some D linemen to grow with the linebacker room, etc. You need each room to have players grow together, and so you need to get bigger classes at some point and just fill your holes with the portal guys that you could use. But I only ask that. I'm not saying, Colorado fans, don't lose it in here, that I think Prime's leaving. Because I don't like you. I think Prime loves it at Colorado because they give him everything he needs to be successful, and he's just got to go out there and do it. But this season's been stinky. And it's a lot of little things, a lot of discipline things that has had people wondering, would Prime be on the hot seat? I don't think he's on the hot seat yet. I think they'd give him another year. He just lost a Heisman Trophy winner and a Campbell Award-winning quarterback. It's kind of hard to completely bounce back from there when you're starting over. But I know people want Pat Shurmur gone. That's the talk. Rob Livingston is slowly starting to warm up because of how abysmal the defense has been. But I wonder if he's one that will be considered. Now, outside of that, a lot of the ins talk when it comes to these coaches, though, Dukes. Brent Key as well as Clark Lee, Vandy, and Georgia Tech. Now, here's my position, and I really want to know what's your thoughts, especially being a dude in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think anybody could actually pry Brent Key away from Georgia Tech, being he's an alum?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, when you talk about really winning and having resources, I mean, right now it's cool. He's doing a great job at Tech, but can you imagine if he could galvanize that University of Florida fan base with all those resources they have? Even Auburn. I mean, with a $90 million football-only facility, it's beautiful. I mean, there's a lot to like and a lot to love. You can still recruit the Southeast area, and I think he's originally from Alabama, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, man, Brent Key, I think I mean, what if LSU comes calling? You turn LSU down? Like, what? It's only Dan. Let's say Dan Lanning stays put, and let's say some kind of way Ole Miss stays, Lane Kiffin stays put. Then you got Texas. Let's say Texas comes open, Florida comes open, LSU comes open. If you get one, and Penn State is open, one of those big four is all those are open. Brent Key has to be in the big four of coaching candidates if Lane Kiffin stays put.
That's true.
Would you take John? Is he a hotter candidate than John Summerall right now? I would think so.
Yeah, I mean, Key, they're ranked what, in the top 10 right now in the country?
Yeah, like Key, they undefeated, and they probably and really, it's almost like they have as long as they don't fumble, they've got almost a guaranteed shot at the playoffs because the only team that can really beat them is on their schedule is Georgia.
Yep.
So
and they're going to win their conference.
Yeah.
Look at their schedule. They got North Carolina, they got NC State, Boston College, Pitt, and Georgia. So in conference, they've got
that
back-to-back roads.
That Pitt game is tricky.
Pitt game is tricky.
But they got him at home. That's another guy nobody's talking about. But letting Narduzzi get on the roll. People are going to start that Penn State. Now, hear me out. Narduzzi gets on the roll. Remember last year? Narduzzi started out, I believe, 7-0 last year, and the wheels came off. This year, he's got a young quarterback that's been balling. That he's a true freshman. If Narduzzi gets on a roll, how attractive is he to a Penn State if he's able to get in that? If he ends up with only 2 losses this year, a 10-2 season from Narduzzi, maybe he gets in some of those conversations in the Northeast. So we'll see.
I'm actually curious about that one, as you mentioned that. Like you said, he's only got 2 losses so far this season, 4-1 in conference. There's a good chance he can end up finishing this year 10 wins again. This will be his second one. People at Pitt's been kind of like, it's time to move on from him. Maybe he feels the same way. You're right. This is an opportunity. He could be one that ends up taking over. I asked the question about that with Penn State because I know that they have swaths of money they can dig into to get themselves a big name coach. But who's the big name coach that's going to go to Happy Valley? Like I said, if LSU fires Brian Kelly, they should go ahead and pick up the phone and call that man.
I like that.
He'd win.
Yeah, I like
in
that.
Happy Valley.
That's
one coach that would win at Happy Valley.
And it's so important to pick the right job because just look, man, you go back and you look at what's my man from who's got Wisconsin?
Oh, you're talking about Luke Fickell.
Fickell, right? Look at how star-crossed his decision versus Marcus Freeman's decision.
Yeah.
They were right there together.
Yep.
Head coach DC, Marcus Freeman now, and Luke Fickell. I mean, this is crazy, right?
Night and day how they
dominate,
be very
right?
careful on the job
on the job you pick.
That is the key thing. You got to be careful which job you take, because there's a good chance that job you may not do that well with it. Mm-hmm. That is true.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is very true. Golly. Man, there's so much to talk about with these coaching situations. Me and Dukes are going to try to get together once a week and just talk ball like this again. We may even sprinkle a little NFL in there. I know the Falcons kind of got you a little down this afternoon, bro. I'm sorry. It's
all good, man. I'm used to it, man. Like the great philosopher Clifford Harris said, wear Falcons jerseys even if they never win a game. So you see, I got my hat on.
You do. You're showing it, right? Like, I mean,
shout out to Tip, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Tip on that one, man. All right. Thanks for coming through on some ball talk with Jay and Dukes. Like I said, we'll try to get this going on probably about once a week to start. We may grow it. We'll see what happens. Check us out on both our channels, Primetime College Football, as well as check my man out over there at Dukes the Scoop. And yeah, we'll chop it up with each one of y'all later. Peace out.